Hey everybody, welcome to the mystery triathlon pack from, honestly, it's probably been 3 years, maybe more. This one is the sponsored pack, McDonald's, Treasureland, Yo-Noid, and Cool Spot. They'll have 20 minutes for each game, in the worst case. Hopefully they clear it faster than that. So, an hour would be the complete they didn't do anything challenge, and if they can beat them faster than that, hopefully these will be done in half that time. Is the goal when we design these. See how it goes.
These are 3 pretty cool games too, so I'm pretty excited for it.
Grabbing Okami's audio.
I have the unpopular opinion of liking Yo-Noid, and Cool Spot's good, and McDonald's is cool, unironically. Are you ready for me to kick them off?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Seems like most of our players know the mystery triathlon rules. In general, they've been given pretty short goals. There's 3 games. Yeah, if they're just hating a game, they're always allowed to move on, but they take the full time, the 20 minutes, as their time for that game. Likewise, if, like we said before, if they get hung up on anything, they can always move on if the 20-minute mark hits.
That rule is in there because it was really hard to get hundreds of challenges ready, and there were always some games that people could not stand even for 20 minutes in there.
I mean, we see that all the time just in SpeedBump. I mean, how many times have we done a race and like someone checks out after about 5 minutes saying, "Nope, not gonna put up with this tonight." And honestly, I can't blame them. Don't do something you're not having fun doing. McKids is SMB 3. This is a game I'm pretty familiar with, but I've never actually played it myself. My understanding is that it is pretty easy on easy mode, and it, like there are some, I think, harder difficulties for which it gets a little bit nastier, but this should be a pretty straightforward playthrough, I think.
I don't know a whole lot about this game. I just, I think I've played it before. It's competent. Must be Capcom or something.
Treasure made this.
Oh yeah, nice. I'm not used to these games being good. I've played so many shovelware NES games.
There was a really good era of licensed games where they were being made by, you know, licensed out by a lot of well-known creators, and they were generally pretty good, I'd say. If not pretty good, at least fine. I feel like this era of Super Nintendo and Genesis being the current consoles had a lot of pretty good licensed games for a variety of different licenses, movie licenses, and mean, you had Capcom making all of the Nintendo licensed games for Disney. Those were all solid.
Safety zone. Maybe I'm not a very good American, but I don't know what this clown's deal is. What was his thing?
What do you mean, what was his thing?
Is he just a funny guy who gives you fries?
Yeah, I mean, like the early marketing or identity for McDonald's was kind of like circus themed, so.
The Hamburglar. I understand his deal. He seems like a better mascot to me. I like him.
He craves the hamburgers.
I like
honestly, what more could they ask for in a mascot? I don't know a lot of like his early marketing, but I always think it's funny how Ronald McDonald is the most tame clown I've probably ever seen. Does not have a zany bone in his body, but he's a clown. Like, this is a clown who pays his taxes.
At least in the 90s, I don't feel like he was very present. So I don't know. He's just not around.
Well, he's definitely not really around anymore ever since, you know, the 2000s took every mascot from us.
Damn. You can still go to Chuck E. Cheese.
That's true. They'll never take Chuck E. Cheese from us.
They'll turn him into a radical skateboarding mouse, but it's alright. He's still there. When I was, I don't know, 12, my friend told me this was my last chance to get in the ball pit in my life. We're gonna lose our childhood. He was right. I should have gone in there. Pissed. I'll never get a ball pit again. The big slides? Damn.
That's true, but now that we've got E. coli, it's probably best that you don't jump in the ball pit.
Safety zone. This is silly. I guess I could read out the actual goals here, because it's not just beat the game or something like that, obviously. It's a very specific thing. The goal for McDonald's here.
Get to the second goal on the train stage. So yeah, it's the second level of this world.
A for scarf, B shot, C jumps. Yo-Noid's goal is to beat the first pizza eating contest. And cool spot is stage 3 on easy.
Isn't the first pizza eating contest in Yo-Noid like the end of the very first level? That's a pretty short goal.
I think they're expecting trouble. I tried to get people who are helping me make challenges to give me an easy short one in there, maybe a hardish one, and then one that was not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, the first level of Yo-Noid is not trivial by any stretch.
Like I said, the goal was to be done in 30 minutes. If it ended up being a full hour, which it sometimes was, across the board, I would call that pack a complete failure, like it was just imbalanced, not in the right way. I'd rather it be too easy.
Sure. Well, we're almost at the 10-minute mark, and we've already got one person moved on to Yo-Noid, so... Yo-Noid's first level is not terrible, but it's a little deceptive. That water line down there is pretty aggressive. If you get anywhere near it, you will die. All right, 2 more players moved on to Yo-Noid now. We've got Patty B's wrapping up the boss of World 1, I believe.
I don't know shit about Yo-Noid either, and I've eaten more Domino's than anybody on this earth. I like Domino's a lot, though.
I don't know what era the Noid came from, but it was a fairly
generation
short-lived
before ours,
mascot, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was 80s. Last time I ordered Domino's, I got the pepperoni stuffed cheesy bread. They didn't put any pepperoni in it. I forgot the main. It was just the stuffed bread with no stuff.
We're gonna burn that place down.
That sucked.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with the story of why they stopped using the Noid as a mascot. A lot of these items that you pick up in this level, some of them are like weapon changes. The scrolls that you have to hit and then open give you effectively, I mean, for lack of a better word, spells you can use. But some of them are actually assets for the pizza eating minigame. So you can find like the 2 card that represents doubling the number of pizzas. And there's a few other cards in here. So here we have Polterghost going up against the first pizza eating challenge.
This is a weird... I don't even know what to call it. This is Balatro's precursor. It's just strange. It's like rock, paper, scissors combined with just numbers. Like, you're just trying to guess what they're gonna guess and minimizing damage, maximizing viewers.
The problem is that because you are credited the overage or penalized for the underage, whatever you want to call it, there's really no reason to ever choose anything but your largest number. Like if you're like, well, I want to save the 3 for when I see them play a 2, well, that doesn't really matter because you're gonna add extras. Like you get credit for all of the extra. So I've always found this minigame to be kind of silly. I'm not 100% certain Polterghost understands the assignment here. Maybe they do. They've continuously, like, willingly
Yuck, red pepper.
Willingly
Man.
lost rounds?
What's the deal with this jerk not liking red pepper? I've never heard of this. This
It's too hot.
This guy shouldn't be allowed to eat pizza.
Okami is caught right up, though. I mean, this minigame is fast if you just, like, slam down the input, so I don't think she's too far behind here. Basically made up the entire gap between Polterghost getting an earlier start on the stage. And now we have Patty B starting Yo-Noid. Again, not a very long challenge, so not unreasonable to think that Patty B's is still very much in this.
I don't care what you put on your pizza, except maybe anchovies. I hate that shit, but red pepper, you better damn well eat that. If that's the type of pizza it is, what's this guy's deal?
I love anchovies. I've never had them on pizza.
I'm
not brave enough to ruin a pizza by ordering it. You know what I mean?
We got the moon wobblies out here and just made the car smell like fish. And taste like fish, too.
I'm not mad about that. Oh my god, the sync of Okami and Polterghost both moving on.
I'm just surprised the pizza-loving Yo-Noid would decline such a common topping. Nothing wrong with not being able to eat pepper. I just think if that's his problem, he probably should move to a different type of food. He's just gonna...
I think if you're inventing a fictional character, your fictional character should really like most common toppings.
Yeah, it would be like if he didn't like cheese. It's almost
Sorry,
like...
I'm lactose intolerant. Cool Spot was used in a lot of advertising in the 90s. I don't know in what world they thought that Cool Spot was popular enough to warrant getting a video game and also several video games, but I'm thankful for it because this Cool Spot is a very good game, actually. What's our challenge for Cool Spot, you might be asking? Beat stage 3 on easy. That was just stage 1, so they are schmoving through this. Now, peer pressure, the second level, is a little bit labyrinthian. It's not just left to right. You have to kind of figure out how to navigate around this level. It's not super long if you know where you're going, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, my funniest fact about Yo-Noid is about Yo-Noid is that it's actually a reskin of a Japanese game called Kamen no Ninja, where you are a ninja. I'm sorry, that seems redundant, but I believe, if I remember correctly, the minigame is like throwing shurikens, where whoever throws the most wins, and they turn that into a pizza eating contest. There's two Kamen no Ninjas. I think it's Kamen no Ninja Hanamaru, which is Yo-Noid.
Cool Spot is the 7-Up mascot, obviously, but he has some really interesting games.
Yeah, they had that that pretty cool sort of Othello reversey clone that also has the world's longest animations.
That's the good game related to like, they have a lot of well-animated games. Like this one is probably the best, second best one, and I hate this game. This game is really
You don't
annoying.
like this game?
It's so big and empty. It gives me Amiga vibes.
Yeah, I get that. I find the levels like this one, Peer Pressure, that we see Poltergeist on, I find levels like this show up in a lot of licensed games, and they're really annoying and don't really add anything to it. So I definitely get that. There's enough levels in this game that are just kind of platformers left to right. And I'm always brain poisoned by cool speedrun tech, and this game has some pretty cool speedrun tech. So I probably give it a little more credit than it deserves, but I do remember enjoying it a lot as a kid.
I can tell you it's not a popular game when I give it out. I think the collectathon aspect, forced collecting, is part of why I don't like that as a mechanic. They're just Mario coins, but now they're mandatory, essentially, and they're scattered about pretty severely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You need half of them, I think.
Yeah, it's not a small number, but it's also not all of them, so as long as you're just being diligent about collecting them when you see them, it's usually not too bad.
If it were a bigger number of them, my rating of this would go from like a I don't really like it to, wow, this is the worst game on the SNES. I guess every single dot required would be menacing.
I'm sorry, not every game can be the worst game on the SNES. Aero the Acrobat still exists.
Aero the Acrobat isn't even far on my list, honestly. I went through Bebe's Kids and beat it. Now I've got that at number 2. I didn't have it that high up until I actually tried to win.
Yeah, I tried to beat Bebe's Kids a few times in the past, and I got walled by, I think it was like the boss on the last level.
Oh, he's awful.
And dying to the last boss on the last level is one of the few things in this life that I find rage-inducing.
Well, that one sends you back 2 levels.
Yeah. I'm I'm a pretty chill person, but that is absolutely rage-inducing when the whole game is kind of whatever, and then the very end of it is like, and you will not win.
I don't know anything about this mascot either.
He's just the Spot from the 7-Up cans. I don't really think he's got a lot more to his story.
He's just cool looking. Easy to draw. Anytime they put gloves on somebody like that, that's because they wanted to animate it more easily, I guess. That's why everybody has those Disney gloves.
Yeah, this stage, in the rafters with the spiders in the dark, following peer pressure, I can definitely understand why someone would walk away from this saying, wow, this game sucks. Alright, that's Okami done, and that's Poltergeist done. 10 seconds apart from one another.
Make 7-Up yours. Patty's on the pizza fight. So the, I forgot about it, but I don't even remember where you get them from, but you can cheat with the hot pepper and some other stuff in that. Help you win. Poison the other Noid and make him lose some points.
I'm not sure what I wish I had been watching all of Patty's attempt here, because I do not know what put Patty in this position of having like no cards and no pizzas eaten.
What's
like,
going on with this anyway? Well, like, like logistically, the tournament is the one who gets full on pizza first is the winner.
Yeah, reaches their cap first.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of that like in a real life tournament where I'm like feeding people.
Yeah, I
pizza.
guess it's get full first. Me, when I can only eat 17 pizzas before getting full, the entire world starts shaming you for it.
Oh, you think you're a champ at getting full? Here's my 5-year-old son. He eats one slice. He's done. Good luck. I just don't understand this this tournament. I don't think anyone else has any game audio for us, so we're gonna have to miss out on that cool spot audio.
Unfortunate. We have now got all of our players on Cool Spot. Spritz is on the last level of the challenge, level 3. Patty B's is just now starting level 1. Level 1 is pretty short, but level 2 and 3 are not trivial. What's your favorite licensed game?
I kind of like NES Monopoly, but I only like it with humans because the AI sucks so bad.
I suppose, I mean, in a technical sense, I guess board games are licensed games. I feel like that term gets so... Like, it's such a catch-all. If it's a game that uses a license from something that wasn't originally a video game, it is a licensed game, but that covers so much ground.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, my first go-to is Lion King.
Yeah, I was going to tell you that if you said Lion King, we aren't friends anymore.
But it kind of sucks.
It
And
does suck. That's the reason why we wouldn't be friends.
have you played the NES official Lion King game? I just beat it on the shuffler for the first time.
No.
The final level
I'm
is
aware
Hakuna
of it.
Matata.
First off, I didn't realize it was official. I thought it was bootleg or something.
That gorilla that's in the end of the Matata stage on the SNES is the final boss of the NES one, which implies that Scar didn't do anything at all. It was King Kong and came over there and fucked him up. Now, I think Chip and Dale actually, NES, is the best licensed game I've ever played.
Chip and Dale is pretty good, yeah. I would agree.
I don't want to. I thought DuckTales was good, but as I play through it, again, 20 years later, kind of mid. It's just got a weird stage design. Chip and Dale holds up really good, and it's got this co-op stuff. It's only got a couple places that suck.
I like DuckTales for the sort of exploration and adventure game vibes it's got. You know, if you want to find all the cash or something, you gotta like
Yeah, that's
be
awesome.
willing to really search over walls and in hidden areas. And I really like that. But DuckTales 2 definitely did it better, and DuckTales 2 doesn't get nearly as much attention.
I think so.
I don't remember what the deal with DuckTales 2 was, why people don't recall it as well. Probably just because it doesn't have the moon theme in it.
We had to mod the game to remove the moon theme. I think it's because 1993 is the release year for DuckTales 2, and I think that's just too late.
That makes sense. Real late release, yeah.
When I think about how late that is in the SNES lifetime, I compare it to like Mega Man X, which was the same year as that. Like, now you're really pushing it. Like, DuckTales 2 is good, but when Mega Man X is what you're comparing it to, it really does feel like it's a different console now, even though that's top-end NES.
It's obscenely late. I mean, the last mainline NES release was Wario's Woods in '94. I mean, there were other licensed games that came years later. Who cares? Whatever. But the last mainline licensed release was '94. And so, I mean, you're talking about as late as you can release.
I do like the aesthetic of this beach level. And I guess every level in this game is like this. I just like games where you're some tiny little moron and they scale it properly. Like, Chip and Dale actually tried to do this the whole time, but you run into like a pint-sized ostrich and stuff, and it doesn't make any sense. Here you see a lawn chair, and it's right. The scale is correct. Fighting crabs, you're not fighting, I don't know, flamingos that are somehow the size of a chipmunk. So that part of this I do like.
Yeah, when I think of licensed games, like I was saying, it's kind of a catch-all term that does, like, if you read it by its definition, it does include a lot of other types of games. But when I think of licensed games, I'm thinking about like TV, movies,
Song of Real World, Smash Ball,
and like all these food brands.
I think that's
I'm not thinking
SNES
of like
choice.
board games.
Yeah, that's fair. Hello Kitty put out an incredible dodgeball game. You just gotta play that Windjammers equivalent on Sunrail World.
I'm talking about Senrio Smash Ball?
Yeah.
That game rules. I love that game.
It's definitely shovelware, but Sneak King is maybe the last sponsored kind of game I've played. Found it at a yard sale for $3.
I feel like I've heard good things about that game, but I've never played it myself. I didn't have an Xbox in that era. Is Patty B's playing on easy mode? I don't think these worms are on the ropes in easy mode, but I might be misremembering.
What game is Polterghost jamming?
Don't recognize it. Arcade Contra?
I was gonna say it looks like we have Contra at home, honestly, but just because of the way it moves, like graphically, it looks great.
Look at that jump spinning animation.
It just looks like everything's underwater compared to what Contra usually runs like.
Usually when you jump and it does that like spin in midair, it's so fluid.
Yeah, this is the Contra
Like-
one, or this is Super C's first boss. This helicopter fella guy, the felicopter.
The helicopter.
I think I have that music somewhere in here.
When are you gonna prove your skills on arcade Contra?
I'll throw it in there. I ain't scared. All the Contras are pretty easy once you learn them. For as famously difficult as they don't really have anything in there that's like conventionally difficult. They're mostly just learning how to deal with the problems, and then you've solved it. You're good. You don't have any like frame perfect jumps or anything like that in any of the Contras, really. One of the worst things I can think of is like the brain on Contra 3 and dealing with his roulette. Other than that, you don't really have anything. It's pretty simple to manage, especially if you get used to like shmup patterns and leading the bullets. So I feel like I could handle an arcade game just as well. Yeah, like Ghouls and Ghosts, the NES Ghosts and Goblins, those are never easy. You will never be able to beat those easily. Like, they're always going to get you if you're not paying attention. But I can sleepwalk through Contra, especially Super C. That's definitely one of the first games done in the shuffler. It's not random, and it's not unfair once you know the tricks. I can't speak for the Genesis Contra. I don't really know that one. And the PlayStation Contras are so bad. The PlayStation 2 ones are fine. I've actually not played hard. I've not played hell is it? Shattered Soldier maybe? I have it here though. Should.
Too reckless to enjoy games like this. Like if I really take my time and try to dodge shots, I can do it, but I'm usually just too reckless to invest in the way I need to.
They're really good co-op games, but ultimately they have the same problem Battletoads kind of does, where you need to find two people who know how to play it, and that's unlikely. You'll probably never encounter this. Easier now than it used to be when it was just your brother, or whatever. You know, your friends who'd never played a video game before, and you're just watching them die. Or you get all the weapons because they just can't hold them. When you get to the Turbo Tunnel in Battletoads, that's the end of your co-op run. They're just gonna wipe out, and you're just gonna beat it, and then that's it. They're never gonna get a chance to buzz back in.
We got about 10 minutes left in Cool Spot for Patty B's here.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the system too. Is it's a little complicated to track, especially when they skip games. But we're not going to be here for the full hour. Once they got to Cool Spot, the final clock started. They each get 3 clocks. So 20 minutes of Cool Spot is all we have to endure. I don't have to be here forever. I should organize another one of those. It seemed like it was a popular thing. We could do it. We could make it snazzy. Are you ready for Mr. Triathlon Tournament 5?
Sure. We can use SpeedBump time for it too.
Yeah. I would gather a bunch of people to make challenges. I would not let them play their own challenges, and then everybody could submit some. Have a system where you have to have one other person test it, and only one other person. I would make a database and keep those people out of their own packs. Klinger Winger is really tight, and in fact, I'm pretty sure legend has it that the co-op multiplayer NES Klinger Winger is impossible in America. It's a bug. You have to play the Japanese version to even be able to do it, like literally. I think that's true. There's a fix for that.
Player 2 can't move?
Yeah, they didn't have anybody to test with that could beat Klinger Winger to get there to even try. Klinger Winger is... I like the concept. It's really cool. It shouldn't be as hard as it is. Battletoads across the board is like that. Like, if it were just relaxed a little bit, it would be a really awesome game that everybody would love, instead of the famous piece of shit that it is. I don't
remember the level names, but the level that I always get walled on is the swimming through the pipes.
That's Terratubes. I hate that level. The sharks.
That's the one where I'm always... That's where my gameplay is going to end.
There's a lot of levels in it that I think are stinky, but once I get to Terratubes, that's where I end up for half the game. That part at the end with the sharks and all that other stuff has a 1-up that respawns, so you can just be there forever. Because I just die over and over again. They did a lot of stuff. Every level's different, pretty much. I hate the ice level. And I hate Terratubes. I don't really care too much about any of the other ones. There's... The Revolution's neat, and people have copied that 100 times at this point, but it's also rude in a couple places for no reason.
Yeah, Battletoads is a game I don't play very much because I don't have a lot of nice things to say about it. It feels like one of those games that is popular to the extent that it's popular for all the wrong reasons, and I don't understand why it's remembered fondly.
I grew up with the SNES one. Got it memorized. Which made me able to beat the NES one pretty quickly, except for Terratubes. The SNES one just basically took the highlights from the first game and the main levels, Rat Race and Turbo Tunnel and the snakes, and then they just ignored the rest, and the rest kind of sucked, so nice.
It's not that it bothers me that it's too hard. Like, I really like Super Ghouls and Ghosts and Ghosts and Goblins. Like, those are games that are way too hard for their own good, and I quite like them, but I don't find Battletoads particularly interesting in the ways it chooses to be hard. It's not doing anything that makes me say, you know what, I'm going to struggle through this. It's going to be worth it.
I grew up with Super Ghouls and Ghosts as well.
I quite like Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Like, I think it is miserably difficult at exactly the wrong times in the game, and I think it's fun. I like it.
I hate the beat the game twice system. I just want to beat the damn game and call it. I don't do New Game Plus on anything except for Chrono Trigger. I just don't do it. Dark Souls has a whole bunch of content in all of their games for like New Game 7, and I've never seen any of that. I've played hundreds of hours of those games, and I've never done it once. I just don't have any interest at all in starting the game over with my stuff and doing new stuff in it. It just sounds like a pain in the ass. It's just, I'm done with the game when I see those credits. So I don't want to run the whole game again exactly the same with a bad weapon. And that's unfortunately a Ghouls and Ghosts tradition, just like refighting the Mega Man bosses. I sure like Demon's Crest though.
That is a game you are really into, yep.
I agree that that's the best thing to come out of the Ghouls and Ghosts franchise. Somebody said that to me once, and I was like, oh yeah, you know what? You're on the money.
I like the other Gargoyles Quest games. I think they're good.
Yeah, they're not bad.
The Game Boy one's a pretty chill game.
The first one has a really high encounter rate. I don't know why there's even encounters at all. But aside from that, I think they're great. Yeah, there's so many mods for like Dark Souls 1, for example, like the randomizer and stuff, the shuffler. Why would I do New Game Plus when I have that? Honestly, it's just like a worse version of the same thing. I had one of the Four Kings spawn in Firelink Shrine last time I did the enemy randomizer.
I need to replay Dark Souls one of these days. I was having a conversation with a Soulsborne streamer last weekend. You know, I feel like fairly universally, there's a huge divide between people who like DS1 and people who like DS2, and most of them are not DS1 fans. But we were chatting about Dark Souls 1. That I prefer it much over DS2.
I got bored with the 2, just kept on going, and I don't really like any of the mechanics, but it's similar enough to 1 that I don't care too much. I just didn't think the world was interesting either, like mechanically and world-wise. It's just not got the new game appeal the first one had. Not that the first one is really well designed, but I think it actually is the best of all of them for the map layout where it connects to Firelink Shrine over and over again. I think that's neat. Even if it's a stupid elevator that is 50 feet long, walk up the steps and then 100 miles upwards elevator. Even if that's how they connect it, they still did, and I thought that was cool.
I like Dark Souls 3. I don't think it's very memorable in the sense that I don't have a lot of specific memories of it, but I think that has more to do with the fact that Dark Souls 1 was brand new to me, and Dark Souls 3, like, it was, you know, just kind of more of the same. But I remember finding the bosses really enjoyable, and a lot of the challenges very enjoyable.
Dark Souls 3 has mastered most of the mechanics. I still think the smithing is kind of crap, but they had refined everything so much that it's not memorable because it's just a solid regular experience. It's just not, there's no awful crap happening that like the bedseed chaos thing. There's no boss like that in 3 that just sucks and you just remember it.
I think we're at about our last minute here. I didn't keep exact track of time, but I know roughly when Patty started compared to when the other players finished, so.
Dark Souls 1 has Blighttown, Dark Souls and that nasty Shadow Zone giants. Dark Souls 2 has that ridiculous lake with the wizards shooting homing bolts at you, right? That's 2, I think. If I'm not mistaken.
Don't remember which game that is. That's very late game, though, what you're talking about.
Maybe it's 3. I really hate that area, though.
I think for me, as someone who's only played each one of them exactly one time, I think
We should do a co-op mod.
Well, okay, yeah, we actually did do some co-op together after I beat it, but after playing it exactly one time, I think probably a lot of the reason why I prefer Dark Souls 1 is just because it was all very new to me when I played it, so it was novel, and then 2 and 3 were less novel by virtue of being similar enough to the first game. So maybe my opinion would change if I was one of those Soulsborne players who's played 10,000 hours of all 3 of them.
There is a seamless co-op mod for Dark Souls. It's fairly new that we could do if you're interested in that. I wouldn't mind running through that. It'll only take us a couple days.
Yeah, possibly.
We could just tear right through it. It'd probably take us less than 20 hours to do all of it.
Well, we proved last time that we played that you're way better at it than I am, so...
It wouldn't matter, really, as long as one of us wins. We both win.
Sure.
That's all it takes. And there wouldn't be any invaders or anything because it would be modded, so it would just be pure co-op advantage, no downfall, just all co-op, no disconnecting or anything like that. Seamless. That's what the seamless part is. We did that for Elden Ring, which is another really tight, well-done game. I just find it way too big and I lose interest in it. And I don't really like the overworld map and stuff. I don't like running around exploring non-stop. I'd rather do a tight dungeon.
Yeah, I never started Elden Ring, almost certainly for the same reasons that I never finished Void Stranger, and I have yet to finish Blueprints, and that's because people get so excited to tell you that when you've played it for 40 hours, that you've only just started, and there's hundreds of hours of more content, and that just makes me not want to play it. Like, when you tell me, hey, you know, I spent 80 hours just on the first section of a game... Man, I got like other life to live, you know?
It's a really big game, and we did the DLC in co-op. I don't really remember any of it. Like, I remember Elden Ring because I ran through it twice, and I did all the content in it. I didn't have a great time with that because of that. I remember like mostly the start more than anything because that's the part I cared about. Everything else just kind of kept on going.
I mean, that's close to call it intimidating size. Like, your point stands, but I want to make sure I'm being clear. I don't find long games intimidating. I just find them less interesting. A game that tells me that you're stuck with me until I decide you're done is a game that I just don't really want to engage with.
You can certainly, and especially in a skill-based game like that, dodge a lot of the content. What they did in Elden Ring that I stupidly engaged with wrong is they copy-pasted some dungeon templates and like changed them a little bit, and so there's a lot of bosses that just show up again in pairs and stuff like that. Like, you're gonna run into a lot of repeat content if you continue to do every single thing, and I did every single thing, which I think made it drag on in the same way Odyssey kind of drags on, where you're getting every single moon.
Yeah, like Odyssey I didn't mind because I could have tapped out after the 15 hours it takes you to beat all the main content.
Yeah.
But I came back years later deciding I wanted to do all of it.
I say it every time, the part of Odyssey that made me tap out was when I walked up to Toadette and I'm like, give me those 60 moons. And she went through them one by one and it took me 45 minutes to get them all.
Mm-hmm. There's 880 moon speedruns, and like 45 minutes of the run is just talking to Toadette, which is wild. I mean, everything I know of Elden Ring, I know that the people who got into it loved all of its content. So I'm not suggesting that like it needed to be shorter. I just find really long games like for me in particular, a game that is that long is worse for it.
There's something to be said about the going into a castle that is, I don't know, 10 times bigger than the biggest castle we've ever made. And I get it, that's an interesting It takes a long time, though, obviously, to deal with it, and there's some really nasty boys in there. And it's like the first thing you do in the game, really, is this huge castle. I think that I'm annoyed with the crafting in those games still. And that puts me off of wanting to explore them a lot, because I don't care about the weapons I find. I tried to use more this time.
It's been a frustrating point for me because that has become a real trend for puzzle games lately, is these games where there is a puzzle game and then surprise, there's a lot of secret, hidden, deeper puzzles, and they're almost always asking you to play the game for 200 hours to see it all, and I want less of those. I want fewer games that are asking me to invest 200 hours. I want more games that have polished a tight 20 and are happy for me to just move the fuck on.
I like my 2-hour Mega Man X that I can tighten to 35 minutes. That's my ideal game. I really liked Breath of the Wild, though. They got me hooked for the whole 120 shrines. I didn't like the sequel, but hey, can't win them all.
I like Tears of the Kingdom. I wasn't, like, invested enough to beat it, but then again, I wasn't really when I played Breath of the Wild initially either. I played that game until I got bored of it, and that initial pass of the game never involved beating the game. So I've yet to beat Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm not terribly worried about if I ever do. I enjoyed the amount of it I played.
I'm sure the patty's 20 minutes is past by now, but they're getting close.
It has. I was enjoying the conversations. I wasn't going to cut it off.
Well, yeah, even if we did the DLC, I remember Dark Souls 1 well enough to crush through it. What I hate about the crafting in that game especially is it's a game where it really feels like you should just be picking up and using the weapons, and they could balance around that instead of... It would maybe ruin the amount of loot that they have lying around, and you would have less goodies to pick up. They'd have to have other things than ore. I just think it's really boring to pick up a weapon and it's level 1 and I have to go grind ore to get level 15 out of it. I don't want to... It makes me not want to use any other weapon. I pick a weapon at the start and it's the broadsword this time, and that's all I use. Happens every time I play that game. Or any of them. Even Elden Ring. Elden Ring did a better job. They have 2 sets of ore. One of them is really easy to deal with. The other one is the old crappy system again. But there's a lot of ore around in that game, thankfully, and you can buy a bunch for a change. But it's still expensive and weird to just not be able to use a weapon, like, not know if it's good even. Like, you pick it up, it's got all these strange growths on it, you have to wiki these things to see if it's actually useful or not.
Nice.
You don't know if the A scaling on strength is going to happen.
Patty's time.
Yo, nice.
Yeah, we should do more of these. This was fun to see a variety of games. I like it more than our format of doing 3 games, 20 minutes each. The triathlon format's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think maybe we should.
Maybe we should get the triathlon up and running again and do some of it on SpeedBump.
I might be interested in doing that after October. Mystery Triathlon, just in general, just starting a big old thing with 64 players or whatever. Yeah. 32 probably.
Well, let's chat about it.
Yeah. You doing any streaming off the blues?
Yeah, I think so.
Alright, I'll host over to you if you're starting up. Thanks for joining me.
Take it easy.
Have a good one.